Welcome to Dedicated Perspective with Monica, where real life meets real perspective. This is a space for honest conversation about business, money, mindset, motherhood, and honestly, everything in between. I'm here to share my unfiltered thoughts, lessons, experiences, not because I have all the answers, but because sometimes a different perspective is exactly what you need to move forward. Babe, I'm just here to give you my 2 cents dedicated to your growth. Have you ever noticed the women everyone calls strong are usually the ones that are silently carrying the most? I think a lot of women are silently drowning, especially everyone around them that keeps calling them strong. And honestly, I don't think we talk about it enough. How exhausting it is to be that person that constantly has it together. You know, the dependable one, the ambition one, the strong one, the woman everyone assumes that has it all figured out. But eventually, being strong starts feeling heavy. I think women in their late 20s and early 30s carries a lot of different pressures and in a lot of different directions. Motherhood pressure, relationship pressure, financial pressure, business pressure, and body image pressure. And it's crazy because somehow social media makes it all worse. Because every time you open your phone, someone's getting engaged, someone bought a house, someone's announcing a pregnancy, they quit their job, they started a business, they're growing a business, or they're just traveling somewhere that you haven't been before. And before you know it, you're questioning whether you're behind. And you know what's crazy? Our life was never meant to look like anyone else's. It's hard to appreciate your own season when you're constantly watching everyone else. I think women specifically overstimulate themselves by constantly consuming everyone else's highlight reels. But you know what happens when you constantly are doing that? You're forgetting to appreciate the life that you're living in. And don't get me wrong, I still think one of the hardest positions to be in is being the strong one because people start assuming that you're okay all the time. They assume she'll figure it out. She's always good. She always bounce back. She's the strong one. And while everyone is complimenting your strengths, you're quietly falling apart. And that pressure becomes so isolating. Because let's be honest, the strong friend rarely gets checked on. People don't realize that sometimes the woman holding it all together is barely holding on to herself. And I think the ambition women always go through it a lot more because people assume because you are productive, you are at peace. And those are two completely different things. You can answer every email, you can show up to every meeting, build the business, take care of family, check every freaking box on your to do list, and still feel completely overwhelmed on the inside. And can I be honest with you? That is something that weighed on me too. All the things I knew I needed to do, but I kept avoiding. Not because I didn't know what to do, not because I wasn't capable, but because the work that changes our lives usually isn't the work that you can check off of a to-do list. That work sometimes look like setting boundaries we're afraid of setting. It's letting go of the control. It's a mindset that's holding you into something because it's familiar. It's choosing yourself in hard conversation. It's admitting, I'm laughing because this one's the hardest for me, but it's admitting that you need help. It's finally being honest about what actually weighs you down. I think I stay busy because I feel productive. If I keep working, I didn't have to slow down. If I kept showing up for everyone else, I didn't have to look at myself. If I kept chasing the next goal, I didn't have to deal with what was really happening internally. But eventually, your body will force you to pay attention because avoidance is the biggest thing that does not disappear. It just makes everything heavier. And I realized something that completely changed the way I look at personal growth. Becoming the best version of yourself isn't about doing more. It's about being willing to face the parts of yourself you've been avoiding, the parts that scare you, the parts that's trying to control everything all at once, the part that believes if you stop moving, everything is going to fall apart. And that's the real work. That's the work no one claps for. That's the work that no one can put on a picture on Instagram. That's the work that nobody gets a trophy for. but I truly believe it's one of the biggest transformations that can happen. For me, the healing didn't start because life suddenly became easier. It started because I finally gave myself permission to slow down with nobody in the back of my mind, in the sense of I made the decision that I thought was right for me. And when I made that decision, it gave me more time to pray. It gave me more time to walk outside without feeling like I had to answer a phone call or answer some email. It honestly just let me sit in silence with myself. And little by little, I started hearing my own thoughts again. I started recognizing what I needed instead of focusing on what everyone else needed from me. I started realizing that rest wasn't something I had to earn and only on vacation. It was something I needed. It's still something I'm learning every single day, but I think what led me here was a breaking point. I remember right after the wedding, everyone thought I should be on a high. I had just gotten married, my business was growing, doing great. Life looked really good on the outside, but if I'm being honest, I was exhausted. Not tired because I had a busy week, not tired because I needed a nap, but exhausted in a different kind of way. The kinds of exhaustion where you wake up and you're already overwhelmed before your feet hit the ground. I remember sitting there thinking, why do I feel like this? Everything I've prayed for, I finally have. I don't know if you ever get that feeling. It's almost like a sense of guilt because I was living a life I once prayed for, and somehow I still felt overwhelmed. And I remember asking myself, if this is everything you've been praying for, why do you feel like you're still surviving? I want to paint a picture for you of what life looked like at this time. I was juggling a corporate job, I was building a business, I was planning a wedding, I was trying to be fully present in my marriage, I was trying to show up as a mom, as a daughter, I was trying to serve my clients, and I was pouring into anybody in the entrepreneur world that would listen. From the outside, it looked like I was handling it all well. And behind the scene, I was running on empty. Every day, I felt like I was racing the clock. Wake up, go to work, answer messages on my lunch break, get home, work on the business. And then, God forbid, if my kid woke up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning while I was in the middle of working, I had to try to get some sleep and then do it all again in the morning. And then one day I realized something had to change. And don't get me wrong, corporate was not a bad job. I was super grateful for it. It gave me stability. It taught me so much. It helped me build the life that I have today. But I also realized I couldn't keep asking my body to carry a pace that my mind and heart were begging me to slow down from. I did it for so long that I didn't even know it was a problem. Because if you don't deal with what's happening internally, you'll just carry that pressure into new seasons of life. And I think that's why women are usually so exhausted, not because we're failing, but because we're actually successfully carrying all the things that we need to unpack. Eventually, I realized that my life had to change and I couldn't keep surviving within my own life. So I had to make the hardest decision of my life and choose me and quit my 9 to 5. And here's what I learned from that. Sometimes the hardest part isn't leaving what's comfortable, it's trusting that God wouldn't ask you to let go of something without already preparing what's next for you. And honestly, that decision scares me. It even still scares me to this day. When you're used to being the strong one, slowing down feels so uncomfortable. You almost feel guilty for resting. Like if you stop moving, everything will fall apart. But I think my body was forcing me to finally listen to myself. And the truth is, I'm still figuring it out and I'm still balancing life in real time. I'm still learning how to slow down without being lazy. I'm still learning how to trust myself a little bit more every single day. But growth doesn't suddenly have all the answers. You can be healing and still feel overwhelmed, successful and still feel anxious, strong and still feel tired. And as a mom, these lessons hit differently. I want to be present for my son. I want to be present for my business. I want to grow my business. I want to show up for my marriage. I want to pour into my community. And somewhere in there, I'm supposed to take care of myself too. Because the truth is, success doesn't mean much to me if the people I love only experience what's left of me. Some days I do it really well, and some days I don't. But you know what's one thing I stopped doing? Stop chasing perfection. Because perfection was exhausting to me more than the work that was being done. I realized that balance isn't about doing everything equally. It's about knowing what deserves the best of you today and being fully present where you're at. Real growth isn't polished. Sometimes it looks like crying in the car, canceling plans, taking a step back, and admitting you need help. I think more women should feel less alone if we stop pretending, especially pretending that we have it all together. I think one of the biggest lessons I'm learning in this season is that being strong should never mean abandoning yourself. It's allowing you to rest, it's allowing you to slow down, it's allowing you to admit that you're overwhelmed. And just because you're that person that everyone depends on doesn't mean you don't need support too. Before we end this episode, I want to leave you with this one question. What have you been avoiding? What is that one thing you know that you need to do to become a better version of yourself? The version that you're praying for. Maybe it's setting a boundary. Maybe it's letting go of control. Maybe it's changing the way that you speak to yourself. Maybe it's just slowing down. Whatever it is, I hope you stop running from it because I know on the other side of that uncomfortable work might be the peace you've been searching for all along. Thank you so much for spending time with me a little bit today. It truly means more than you know. If this episode resonated with you, I would love for you to share with me any reminders or just any notes from this episode. If you're enjoying the dedicated perspective, don't forget to follow the podcast, leave a review, and really just honed in on some of these conversations with other women and recommend another woman to the dedicated perspective with Monica. As always, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey and to give you my 2 cents that nobody asked me for. And we'll talk on the next episode.